You're listening to Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rusnak, and this morning I'm joined by Michael Bumsted of the Whodunit Bookshop for a quarantine catch-up. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Simon. It's nice to be with you, albeit digitally.
Exactly. It's been a lot of digital meetings, I'm sure. Well, after a few weeks of storefront closure, those digital meetings have changed. The first week back with doors reopened at Whodunit. What's this first week been like?
It's been really good. We have been we had been pleased throughout the period in which we couldn't have customers in the store with the support that we'd had from the community in general and from classic listeners, particularly. But it is nice to not finish the workday and move on to a delivery schedule. And so far, everything has gone really smoothly for us in terms of opening and people being very respectful of physical distancing and understanding of some of the shortcomings that have come from this closure in terms of what we can stock and explaining to them how some publishers have decided to close their warehouses. And so the books that they want can't arrive. And everybody's been really patient and understanding with us, and people have been buying books, which is really wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, it has been a time of patience, a time of now kind of trepidation, easing into things slowly but surely. If people have been following Whodunit on social media, they may have seen some of the precautions that you have undertaken in accordance with all the provincial government guidelines for reopening. But for those who haven't seen those videos and the pictures, can you walk us through how you've prepared the store this first week back?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are still offering delivery free in the city, as we always do. And we are still offering curbside collection for those people who don't feel comfortable coming into a space right now. We really like to be able to offer that to people because we don't want people to feel like they need to come into somewhere if they're not ready to do that yet.
Yeah.
But then within the space, we have a capped limit on the number of people who can be in the store at any time. It's 8 at the moment, and that seems to be all right. And then once you come in, we ask that you sanitize your hands, and that you then, after you've sanitized your hands, not touch your face to then touch the books, because that sort of defeats the purpose of sanitizing your hands. And then we've marked out on the floor some directional movement and what 6 feet is. And so we'll be going through like that. I mean, we're still encouraging people, if they want to pre-order what they have so that we can collect it for them, they can minimize their contact that way. But we do understand that for a lot of people, book buying and being in a bookstore is about the looking at books as much as it is about the books that they end up with. And we have sort of adapted to the space to be compliant with the province and its safety standards to allow people to come and take a look around.
Yeah, browsing is such a big part of the book buying experience, like you say, just to make your way between the shelves and to grab a title that is appealing to you and working your way through that process and finding something that you want to read, right?
As long as you don't touch your face in between touching the books.
Yeah,
And
this is the big thing now.
It's really the one thing that we can sort of visibly see that is weird in this new normal. We have a lot of people who come in with lists, for example, particularly when they're looking for our used stock and they're looking to fill in their Aaron Elkins or their James Pattersons or their Michael Connolly collections or what have you.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we had quite a humorous little exchange with a woman who came in. She says, "Is it okay? Is it clean? Can I clean my hands?" Yes. And the first thing she did was, after she cleaned her hands, was pull out her lists and lick her fingers to pull the pages apart. At which point, she and I looked at one another and we sort of had this look. Okay, so let's start again.
Yeah.
We'll go back to the hand sanitizing station. We'll start at the beginning and we'll go through that. And to this point, we have not really had anybody who's had any problems with the precautions, and everybody seems to be pretty willing to participate in them, which is really great. But it does. I mean, being a bookseller is a lot of things generally anyway. And at the moment, we're adding recess warden to that as well. Don't kick
being the
dust
monitor
in other people's face, no fights, being a monitor where, like a patrol guard or something like that, something that is very sort of make sure that you're behaving properly in a very elementary way. And it's a strange adjustment.
I'm sure it is, but it must be nice just to have at least a couple of bodies inside the store, and to see people, back in there. I do want to say though, as you mentioned, this the first week back, but you've kept people reading through this whole time of physical distancing, of social distancing, with the curbside pickup and with the free citywide delivery. What's that been like? Has there been an uptick the past few weeks before you've reopened?
Yeah, I mean, we have always offered the
Yeah.
free delivery. It's a big core part of our business because we have a lot of customers who are longtime customers, um, who are just not able to move into our space.
Right.
Or really even leave their homes at all, and we really want to help them get books. And so it's something that we've always offered. But I put just short of 500 kilometers on the road
Wow.
in April, uh, and yeah,
That's
I
not
mean,
y
and
that's not
that's
your usual April, right?
no, well,
Yeah.
that's not a no. I don't normally drive that much,
No.
uh, and so it was nearly every day, and uh, I was taking oftentimes as I drive my mother home, and we would stop on the way. She was going to get to see new parts of the city that she's never seen before, or that have changed so much since the last time she traveled through. Say, um, well, South Point wasn't there. I don't think the last time that she drove down.
Yeah, yeah.
um, or when she was just, well, why don't you go this way? And say, well, Waverly doesn't go that way any
No,
longer.
it does
These
not.
these
Yeah.
kinds of things that if you aren't moving through the city broadly, then you discover new pockets and parts of it. And that's actually been a really enjoyable feature of this last month, and putting all of those kilometers in on delivery is uh, getting to watch how Winnipeg has sort of changed and evolved. And there are parts of it that I don't often go into, and then you see, oh, they're built a new thing there at the end of St. Boniface, or
Yeah.
this road is only a one-way street now, and I think, well, that was
Yeah. Should probably make sure I'm going the right way.
yeah,
Yeah,
well,
those kind of things, yeah.
the Gateway was a real trick for me. 3 weeks ago, I had gone to a delivery going one direction onto it. I thought, okay, this is where I turn. And then the next couple of days, I'd gone the other direction, and I was coming back to Gateway from the side that has the grocery shop on it. And I thought, oh no, I actually turned on to it the wrong direction the last time I was coming here. It's very clearly marked. I don't know why I thought I could get away with it.
Well, I'm just thrilled that you guys are continuing to provide a safe way to keep reading. And the website, rather intuitive. I mean, I love how clearly things are laid out by category, like spies or historical, or there's Agatha, obviously, or cozy mystery, but even categories like books with dogs or cats, or children's books. And with students now learning from home, I imagine those have been rather popular too, right?
Yeah, and we're learning more about sort of educational children's books. Not to say that there aren't educational children's books in our store, but the
No.
difference between the book that you have, some of the children's books that we have that you'll learn about something new as a result of reading it, versus a book that is about math. Workbooks and activity logs and things like that are a fairly new thing for us, but they're something that we're able to provide to particularly through our web store. Uh, and that web store really allows us to show people what the breadth of things that we can access for them are. I
Hmm.
mean, we are still a mystery specialty bookshop, and the vast majority of our stock remains crime fiction. But I mean, for people who visit the website at whodunitbooks.ca, or who walk by our windows or things like that, they'll see more and more stuff that isn't from a traditional mystery genre that we are also able to get for people. We're always happy to special order things for any customer, and or do our best to get them the things that they want. But those children's, like, yeah, I didn't know a whole lot about the sort of math primer, or uh, the the sort of English grammar book that comes with a sort of story with it, or um, puzzles about the table of elements that also have a book about the table of elements. Those are things that are pretty new to us in terms of what we offer.
Well, there's, again, all the more reason to check the website. Michael, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us this morning and fill us in on all of the happenings at the Whodunit Bookshop.
Well, thank you very much, Simon. I'm afraid that we're probably not going to be as enticing as the Tchaikovsky that you played in this period yesterday. But nevertheless, I hope that people enjoy it, and I hope that you have a great weekend.
Well, wishing you the same, Michael. Always good seeing you. And, well, we'll talk soon.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Simon.
All right, you can find Michael and the team at Whodunit Books, 163 Lilac Street, and they're practicing physical distancing, as you heard. Some physical distant book browsing, or browse online at whodunitbooks.ca.